folks, we're trying something new today. I'm going to move the microphone off my shirt. I'm going to put it on the visor. Got the new clip idea. I'm trying a second. What did I just do? These microphones are too small. Alright. I don't know where it went. There it is. Woo! That was lucky. Alright, let me try this. Alright. I think that's gonna work. I don't have the dead cat on there, but let's see how this works, all right? We'll give it a shot. So I won't be wearing you when I go into the restaurants, but I don't think that really wasn't such an important thing anyway. Okay, so here we go. Ready to roll. I hope that mic is, so the mic is on the visor now instead of being on my shirt. And I think that's going to be good. It is 5:10, so I'm a little bit early. That's good. That's good. We've got 2 deliveries to make today. They're both in the van, so I only need to make 1 trip. And it's probably take about 2 hours total round trip, somewhere in that range. I got my coffee. It's cold. Oh, look, it's 9 degrees. We made it to the single digits, everybody. It's 9 degrees here in Hampstead. And let our journey begin. You know, we got to talk about the weather this morning, folks. We got to talk about the weather, okay? Because lights, camera, action. We got it all. Yeah, so let's have a little powwow about the weather. Get moving here first. It might be better. I don't know. See, I feel weird that it's above me instead of being on my shirt. Anyway, so here's the weather situation. I looked at it this morning. By the way, I use, there's weather.com, there's AccuWeather, there's all these different things. I use one called Weather Underground. I think the website for it is W Underground, all one word, the letter W, underground.com. Anyway, I just like them better. They're just like any other weather website, though. Have you ever noticed weather websites are like, they have the most ads I've ever seen on a website? Like, they are the ones that are just like, it's everywhere in your face. And the other thing about weather websites is that they know exactly what you've been looking for. You ever notice that? Weather websites are like, if you go online and you're like looking for t-shirts, for like a week after you do that, every morning when you look at the weather, it's going to be suggesting a place to buy some t-shirts. You know what? I think I'm going to put the thing back on my shirt. You got to let me know what you think. Oh, you know what I did again? Hold on. You know what I did again? I didn't put... That's so stupid. I didn't start my thing again. Alright guys, I think some of you have chatted, but I didn't hear you. Because I didn't have it turned on, sorry. should be working now. When you type, I should hear it now. I can't tell who that is. It's somebody with a long name. That's all I can see. Can't read it. It's too tiny. Anyway, back to the weather. So here's the deal. Oh, it's 10 degrees now. We're warming up. Warming up. Hang on.
COVID-82 says good morning.
Good morning. Hang on. It's cold here. It's a little chilly. It's actually going to be warmer, though, the next 2, almost 3 days. All right, here we go. All right, how is everybody this morning? Can you hear me all right? I'm a little... Having the microphone on the visor, maybe it's because I'm in a van. It's higher than a normal car. I don't know. Let's go with it and see how it works. Anyway, so here's what I want to talk about. I looked at the weather forecast. It goes out 10 days. And everybody's been talking about the storm that's coming this weekend. So it looks like in Maryland, it's going to start snowing on Saturday evening. It's going to snow through the night and all day Sunday. So overnight on Saturday, we're supposed to get about 7 inches. And then on Sunday, we're supposed to get another 10, I think. Yeah. So altogether, over the weekend, beginning Saturday night, going into Sunday, all day Sunday, we're supposed to get about 17 inches of snow. Well, that's a lot of snow. So I don't know if that's really going to happen or not, but that's what the forecast is right now. And then the thing that I also noticed is beginning around that same time, like today's going to be okay here. We're going to be like in the 30s. Tomorrow, I think we're going to be up to the 50s. And then it's going to get colder Saturday, obviously. But after that, we're going to be, well below freezing for the remainder of the 10 days. So it's going to get, like in the 20s. That'll be the high temperature. It'll be like right in that range for 5 or 6 days after, at least 5 or 6 days after this big snowstorm. So I'm not real excited about that. But it does point out one thing. You got to get rid of the snow on the day it happens. Like, this is not going to be one of those snows where you want to kind of like hang around, maybe, I'll shovel tomorrow kind of thing. Can't be doing that. Because, hang on, I gotta focus. Because if you don't get this snow, this is going to be one of those things. If you don't get it on the day, on Sunday, like it's going to be one of those snows you got to kind of keep up with it, keep shoveling throughout the day. Because if you don't, and it goes into Sunday night, and you still have snow on your sidewalks or your car or whatever, it is going to be a nightmare to get it off, and it's not going to melt for a week. So you're going to be in bad shape. So that's my one recommendation to everybody: shovel continuously, little bits at a time. You know what I mean? I know. I don't like shoveling while it's snowing, but that's the best way to handle that kind of snow when it's going to be like a foot or more. Snowing tips from Craig. Maybe it won't even happen. You know, you never know. You never know. It might not happen at all, but I don't know. There's just too much. We're getting closer now, and the forecast really isn't changing here. So something is going to happen on Sunday. It's going to change reality for all of us. I do have a quick snow story. So one year, this was a long, long time ago. But one year, my brother and I were, we went to Daytona, to the Daytona 500 every year for years and years, right? So this one year we went down there, and it's in February. It's always in the middle of February. It's the same week or weekend that President's Day falls on, or usually. I think there might have been an exception somewhere in there, but that's where they usually have it. It's like 2 weeks after the Super Bowl. So we went to Daytona, and did we drive down? No, I think we flew down, and we just made it out. It had started snowing. We would leave on Wednesday evening, so that we were down there for Thursday, because the races really start like race week. The races start on Thursday. I mean, this was back when the first Daytona 500 we went to was the one where Dale Earnhardt was in that accident and unfortunately passed away. So that was the first year we went. Then we went for he went longer than me. I went for maybe 12, 14 years, something like that. But he kept going. My nephew still has tickets, so you continuously renew the tickets. So my nephew still buys the tickets, so the seats are still there. But anyway, well, we're doing it. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So we leave on Wednesday evening. It's snowing pretty hard, but we got to the airport, we got out, we got to Florida, everything was good. So Thursday morning, I look at the forecast and I see that it's snowing, and it's going to snow like crazy in Maryland. So I'm talking to my mom on the phone, and I think we just had one dog at that time. So I said, just keep the porch. Just, don't worry about shoveling or whatever. I'll take care of that when I get home. And, just don't worry about that at all. Just keep the porch. If you just kind of keep the porch swept off, that'll give Andy, it was Andy at the time, it was AJ's father, but that'll give, he'll be able to go out on the porch, go to the bathroom, and whatever, so you'll be okay. But we ended up having I don't know, it was almost 2 feet of snow. It was some no, I think it was almost 3 feet. It was ridiculous. It was the kind of snowfall where they didn't just use snow plows. They had tractors on the side of the road with the the, what do you call the thing in the front that the big scoop things. They were using tractors on the side of the road to push the snow off and over. It was insane. But yeah, I told her, just go out on the porch and kind of sweep the porch off every hour or something. And just, there was no way she could have kept up with that. When I got home, yeah, I think it was 3 feet of snow. It was some crazy amount. So anyway, that's my snow story. It's my favorite snow story of all time. I mean, it was still crazy when we got home. There were no flights. And this was days later, right? We were supposed to fly home on Monday. We always flew home on the Monday after, no, Tuesday after the race, because case the race was ever delayed, we'd still be there for that day. And it was still so bad that there were flight issues on Tuesday. I think that was the time the flight was still canceled. We rented a car and drove home. Well, I mean, we had a rental car in Florida, so we just extended our rental and drove it home. But anything over a foot is a lot. It's a lot. Probably heard that. I lowered the visor a little bit, but then it automatically just snapped back up into position. I will say, I'm going to have to tell John about this because I think, he had suggested like the kind of clip that you put on a bag of chips. Because some of those have the magnet, and I did test that out. It worked, but it didn't open quite as widely as I needed it to, and it didn't lay flat across the top. So what I'm using is a binder clip, like you have in the office. The black rectangle with the metal, the two metal kind of like handles that you pinch to open it. I'm using a big version of the binder clip because this is a big visor, big, thick visor. That's a different looking Pennsylvania plate up there. I'm wondering though, because it's on the visor, whether you're getting a little bit more of the tray noise back. I don't know. I'll listen when I get home. You got to experiment with this stuff. Try it out. Yeah, so we've got an exciting week coming up. Getting snow. It's kind of like, the way I look at it, I was thinking about this morning. It's almost like, those obstacle courses. Like the ones, I think you see them a lot with the military, but you go out, you got to jump over all this stuff, crawl under the barbed wire and all that kind of stuff. Well, that's sort of what this week is going to be like. It's like an obstacle course. And you got to get through it. So you got to have fun. It's got to be fun. I mean, people who run an obstacle course enjoy it while they're doing it, I think. they go out there. They don't have to. Well, in the military, I guess you have to do it, but there are people that do it for fun. Well, that's what we got. That's the way we got to look at this snow stuff. Why is everybody pulling off the road? Something I don't know. You got to look at it like that. It's like a game. You got to get through it. So right now we're at the starting line of a week-long obstacle course. Now the first few days are going to be pretty easy. So this is our prep days. You got to get ready. We got plenty of time to get ready, so there's absolutely nothing to worry about as long as you stay on schedule, you stay focused. You know, you got to get some groceries. Do it now. Don't wait till the last minute, panic, people. We got plenty of warning. Like, I'm probably going to hit the grocery store on the way home. Just pick up anything. You need a shovel, buy it now. You need salt, all this stuff. It's your time to prepare. And it's never as bad as you imagine, right? Like, everybody goes out and buys enough toilet paper to last for a month. You know, even in the worst case scenarios, it's not a month. You know, worst case scenario, you're stuck in your house for, I don't know, 3 days, 4 days, maybe. That's worst case. In reality, you're usually out moving around the next day. I mean, and I do realize there's exceptions to the rule, but just keep in mind, it's never as bad as they make it out to be. And if you watch the news, you know, they're going to, if you watch the news,
COVID-82 says I live in Canada.
Yeah, so you're probably pretty used to it. We tend to, you know, south of Pennsylvania, we kind of freak out. People tend to freak out. The line between Maryland and Pennsylvania is called the Mason-Dixon line. So, like, technically, Maryland is considered a southern state. Kind of like in the middle, though. I don't think people from Maryland consider themselves southern. But they really are. What is the weather like up in Canada? And what part? See, Canada's pretty big. You could be talking about, you know, Toronto, which is pretty livable, or you could be way out west. The one thing I'm kind of excited about is, I don't like to lose power or internet, but now that I have Starlink, it hasn't happened to me yet since I bought Starlink, but I'm kind of looking forward to the first time when my power goes out, the cable goes out, and I don't care. live streams next week. If we get more than a foot of snow, that should make for a pretty decent looking live stream. Now, if that happens over Sunday, I don't know what's going to happen on Sunday. You know, like, will the roads be so bad that nobody's moving?
Rocket 82 says we get 10 to 15 cinnamon knows this. Oh. At Rocket 82 says Ontario.
Ontario, okay. It's pretty far up there. I haven't been to Ontario for a long, long time. I was pretty little. I think we went up there for a family trip. I think Ontario is the city, if I'm correct.
Rocket 82 says we get 10 inches of snow sometimes.
Yeah, that's a lot. 10 inches is a lot. If I remember correctly, Ontario has got a lot of French-speaking residents. I've been to Toronto more recently than Ontario. I remember the cool thing about flights. I flew up to Toronto a few times. I had a client up there. It's actually the
Rocket
rail.
82 says yes.
I had a client and flew up there a few times. The funny thing about when you fly to Toronto, they, in most flights in the U.S., they'll go over, the flight attendants will go over the safety instructions and all that stuff. And they'll do it once in English and once in Spanish, because there are so many people that have come up, speaking Spanish. But what I always thought was kind of cool was that when you fly, at least the flights from Baltimore to Toronto, the flight attendants would do the second language would be French. It's definitely it's a nice sounding language. I don't understand it, but it does have a nice sound to it. I would like to learn another language. I've always said that. Never done it. Spanish would be the most practical language to learn. I think in high school I took French, but I know absolutely. I mean, I don't think I even paid attention in class, so it's not like I ever really knew it. That is the one thing about the United States. We just expect everybody to know English. And they do. I mean, countries, I've communicated with people all over, and they always know English. You know, those kids learn it when they're little. All those Eastern European companies, good countries. All right, we made it to Lenny's. We made it. There's that music, man. Somebody pointed out to me once that as I pulled into What a Day one time, the music just stopped right. And it happened again here. It's like I have it synced up with my travels. All right, I'm going to, I'll flip you because I think it would be maybe more interesting to look. Okay. I mean, that's not really, that view isn't really any better, but at least I think when I open the door back there, you'll see. All right, I'll be back. Hang on there.
Adventures 4261 says you are not south till you get to Virginia.
Peekaboo! Let's load it up. Probably can't hear me because that microphone blocks out background noise. And now, technically, I'm background noise. I'm not in the seat of sound. All right, I'll be back. Trays in a check. Trays in a check. All good. Okay. On our way out to the county. All right, I'm looking at the window. So stupid about the window, man. I can't. Okay, let's put you back. I think we have the window clean, but you know what? Just never happy with that. It's fine outside. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I think that was inside. I just think it's funny that if you look around the window, see that little light right there, like that thing right there? I don't like that. But I don't think it's, yeah, see, I think it's just the camera. I don't think that's, do. All right. Playing with the window. I mean, it's so cold out that nothing is changing about the window. At least I don't have to struggle with it like during the ride. All right. Okay. Next step is to start the van. Keys, not my keys. I need the other keys. There we go. All right. Possible ice on the road. Oh man, the temperature's flashing. I mean, you should see this car. It's like crazy. Look, it'll still be there. See that? I'm getting all kinds of warning. Possible ice. Possible ice. We are up to 16 degrees though. Anyway. I mean, this van will scare the heck out of you. You know what I mean? I don't even know how I can drive. All right. On to one a day. Let's connect. Come on, there we go. All right, this is going to be a good test. And I'll take a quick shot of how I got that set up so that if anybody wants to see where that microphone is. I don't have the little dead cat on.
Adventures 4261 says Tuber Chat is on at 5 p.m.
5 p.m. today? Oh, okay. Cool. Good to know. How are you doing, Michael? What's going to happen to Emily if you get a whole lot of snow? She's going to be digging through the snow?
Adventures 4261 says I need a nap.
I don't. Oh, I took a nap yesterday. That's why. I'm feeling pretty good this morning. I feel good.
Pulse Adventures 4261 says snow, but they keep changing how much.
Yeah, they're telling us 10. Well, 7. Saturday night, 7 inches. And then Sunday, another 10. So, yeah. I think they usually overestimate. But it seems like they've been predicting it long enough. And that's a lot, they're predicting a storm that is large enough that I think we're definitely going to get something. But that's kind of the cool thing about it. You never really know. I mean, it is kind of exciting. I think threatening weather is kind of exciting. I'd like to see a tornado, actually. I mean, I don't like the weather, can do a lot of damage and stuff. Like, I don't like that part about it, but just the power of it and see, like to be there and see a tornado go across the field, I think that would be crazy wild. A little scary, but I would like to see that. Since I'm probably not going to see a tornado anytime soon, I'll settle for the snow. What is this? Rock trailer. You want to hear this song? Are we going to go before all those people? I think we are. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. We're special. You know it. I know AJ's going to love it. I think he gets a little frustrated that the whole fetch the ball thing doesn't work quite. But otherwise, I think he's okay. He likes the snow. That sneaky photo radar box right over there. Right over there. There it is. There it is. Ha! We know you're there. Can't fool us. today I'm going to go to the food line. I've been stopping at Walmart, and I think today I'm going to go to food line. I haven't been there for a while. People in there are very, very nice. I always feel like I've kind of walked back in time because their customer service is so good. That, like, you know, I probably said this once before, but if you're coming up to the registers, if you've like walked in the store, you got your card, and you're coming up, first of all, the food line that I go to doesn't even have self-checkout. Like, it's not even an option. So I totally love that. And they don't charge you for bags. You know, when everybody else started charging like 5 cents for a bag, and they've always used, I mean, all of the stuff that you're frustrated with other grocery stores, they haven't even done it. They haven't even started it. You know, like, they just don't do it. But what really stands out to me is that, all right, so you're coming up, you're wrapped around everything, you're coming out of the frozen area, the frozen food area, and now you're headed over toward the registers, and they've got them all lined up there like any other grocery store. And it's never, I mean, sometimes it's busy, but this place doesn't have like lines of people. Go ahead, go. I said go. I'm going to sit here. I'm determined now. I'm doing it. I'm going to sit here. Oh. Look, he won. That was like a stare off and we just lost. Anyway. How long was he going to sit there? Like, I wanted to keep going, but I got a job to do. Oh my God. Okay. Because sometimes contents are on there. Sometimes I lose the connection going through here because it's very woody. Yeah, forget that. Don't worry about overpasses. That really doesn't bother me. But you do have to have that open sky. All right. So back to my food line story. Let me finish this. So, because this is the important part. So let's say you're finished your shopping, you're walking up toward, you're coming along the front of the store, and there are all the registers. I don't know how many there are, 10, whatever, 10, 12 registers. 4 or 5 people working. You see people in lines and stuff. If there's somebody at a register that doesn't have somebody in it, they come out and they stand at the end of the aisle, like into the store, and they will call you over. They're like, hey, come over here. There's always somebody doing that. So, like, unlike some stores where you're walking along and you're looking for the open register, and there are like 2 or 3 people that are like usually there. You can only tell because the light's on that you can go there. They're usually on their phone. They're like texting somebody. Like, they don't do that. They come out and they stand at the end of their register aisle and call you over if there's, there really never is a line anywhere because they're doing that. They're like moving people in and out. It's really, and they talk to you, They get you checking out. I mean, I don't think anybody told them that they have to do that, but they do. I have a guy following me right now. There's literally probably not even a car between us. You know what I mean? Like a car's lamp. I can only see his headlights when he... there's tailgating and there's what I'm experiencing right now. It's crazy. We got my favorite bridge behind us. So I think I might go to Food Line this morning. And it's not even the closest. I mean, it's not close at all. There are probably like 4 or 5 grocery stores that can get to faster. But worth it.
At Fred Owner 1561 says good morning.
Hey Fred, how are you doing? I saw you in Kentner's live stream last night. You're up early. I fell asleep. Like I didn't see the end of her. I did. I thought I was close to the end, but I don't remember the end of her stream. I think I fell asleep right when it ended.
Flag Owner 1561 says good.
I was saying earlier, everybody's getting ready for this big snowstorm weekend. Here in Maryland, we're supposed to get about 17 inches total between Saturday night and Sunday. At least that's what the current forecast is.
Flag Owner 1561 says have a doctor appointment this morning.
It's good. Hopefully it is a checkup type of thing. Hope you're feeling all right. I have a doctor's appointment next week. One day.
Swag owner 1561 says orthopedic doctor. I have bad knees.
Yeah, that's what happens. As we get a little older. I think I have an appointment sometime next week. Just a regular checkup type thing. I remember when I was younger, I never went to the doctor at all. Jersey. Following a car from New Jersey.
Swag owner 1561 says I'm taking more meds now than I have in my entire life.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens. I just have one. In 2024, so it's been 2 years, but I had a, medical situation that had me in and out of the hospital a little bit, on all kinds of medication. And you really kind of realize that I don't like taking a lot of medication. I got off of it as quickly as possible. The stuff that was, related to that. But, I mean, it's good. Medications too. I know. Fortunately, I don't have heart issues. But they do run in my family. I've stayed pretty fit, so I don't have that trouble yet, I guess. But yeah, they do. They add up. Blood pressure stuff, blood sugar stuff. They've got a lot of stuff that they can put on.
I didn't take a lot of meds until 2024. That's when they found a bunch of blood clots in me. My D-dimer was almost 15,000 and it's supposed to be between 200 and 500.
Whoa. Yeah, that's not something to play around with. Well, thank goodness they found out. See, you do have to, as frustrating as medical issues can be, they really do find things, and it's improving. The medical industry is constantly improving.
Swag owner 1561 says the doctor looked at still alive.
That's always a comforting thing to hear from the doctor. Uh, how he's still alive. Well, what did you get? Is that number like? Did you go from 15,000 down to the normal range? Like, I assume the medication is keeping you in a safe range. Let's see if they open the door. Let's see. There's the door. There's a car. There's a car at the drive-thru. Usually, if there's a car at the drive-thru, they see that the van is here.
Swag owner 1561 says my last dimer was in range.
Wow. So you came down from the 15,000 to that you said 200 to 500?
Swag owner 1561 says what's the watch in a pretty close.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, they have the capability now to monitor all that stuff pretty well. Yeah, I've had a couple of. One when I was much younger, I had an issue that had a couple of close calls. It kind of makes you appreciate life. It does. To say I was in a household.
Swag owner 1561 says I have 4 sisters that says the blood clots won't kill me. They will, if I don't take care of myself.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely will. I mean, my aunt, I had an aunt that, I mean, she had other medical issues, but they, yeah, that's kind of what she had a big trouble with because they were in her legs, I believe. All right, I'm gonna have to call them. I think. Let me give them a call. It'll drop the audio while I'm on the phone with them. Hang on 1 second. Oh, nope, the door. Never mind. As soon as I say something, they come. All right. I'll be right back. All right, be right back. Boom. Done. Back to the... Oh. Now... Alright. So I just get in the van, right? And look at this. Do you see that? I don't know if it's clear enough. It doesn't. It's weird looking there, but anyway, this thing right here, that is a tire. It's basically telling me that... Well, wait a minute. Let's try this. If I turn the thing off and back on, it should tell me which tire. Let's see what kind of warnings I get. Service, tire pressure, system. Service, tire pressure, system. See, that's what it said before we got the new tires. I'm gonna have to send that. I'm gonna clip that. I hope you could read. Possible ice on the road, by the way. Look, it's 10 degrees, so that the temperature's flashing at me now. There's possible road, ice on the road. The tire pressure system isn't working. I don't know whether we're gonna make it. But I'm risking it. I'm risking it for the donuts. For all the people that eat donuts. All right, here we go. No, that is, and I told them, I said, it wasn't telling me about a specific tire. We can't have a problem with a tire. These are all brand new tires. So, I'm not worried about it, actually. I believe that the sensors...
Swag owner 1561 says that could be a tire pressure sensor going bad.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what it is. I don't know why they didn't replace the tire pressure system, because I told them that's what... They just did the tires Monday. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. Anyway, what's today? Wednesday. No, it was Monday, I think. I lose track. But yeah, I think you're right. It's not the tires. They're fine. It's the sensor. So I'm going to assume, since we have 4 new tires, that I don't really have to worry about the pressure right now. Just gonna live on the edge. Now, if this was John, he would have probably pulled over in the parking lot, lifted the van up a little bit, checked under there, found the sensor, and changed. But I can't do that. I'm not doing it. So Fred, do you do any particular exercise routine to try to keep your knees in shape, or do you have to do anything in particular? That's why I stopped running. I used to run when I was younger, but I would say by like my mid-20s, I stopped running. I like biking, and I love walking, but
Flag owner 1561 says I was doing some swimming there for a while, but I don't know. I just got a little lazy and I haven't done that, but I've got to start it back up again.
oh yeah, swimming would be good. That's right. That is the one thing I don't do much. I don't swim much, really at all. I probably haven't been swimming for
Flag owner 1561 says, and I love getting in the hot tub after I swim, but my doctor told me that's a no with the blood clots.
Really? That surprises me. I would have thought the warm water would be good. Why is that? Like, what is it about being in a hot tub that's bad for blood clots? That surprises me.
Voltages, says Craig. At Fredwag owner 1561 says I guess it's the heat and the medication that I'm on cause. I'm taking warfarin.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, with blood clots, do you have, so is that like a blood thinner type of thing? You have to be careful about cuts and stuff.
Flag owner 1561 says yeah, it's a blood thinner.
Yeah. Yeah, that was another experience I had with my mom. My mom, I don't know if it was a heavy duty blood thinner. She had a valve replacement once, so I think she was on something that kept her blood a little bit thinner because, just to keep that circulation all flowing right. But she fell one time and hit her head on the edge of like a door frame, and oh my goodness, it was a pretty bad cut, but I heard her fall and I came out and I saw her and I was like, oh my god, she had like, it was on her forehead and she was so much blood, and she was like, she was there and she's like, no, I think I'm okay. I'm like, no. I was like on the phone calling 911 because I guess your head, any injury to your head bleeds a lot, but this was just crazy. So I've got like this towel I've got pressed up against her forehead, and she's like, no, I think I'm okay. And I'm like, no, no, you're not. She's like, well, I forget how she worded it, but I knew she didn't want me to be calling the ambulance, but I did, thank goodness. And I'm like on the phone with them. I'm holding her head with this towel against her forehead, pressed up against her forehead, and to keep to keep it from bleeding. And I'm on the phone, so I'm right next to her, and they're like, "Okay, is she okay? Is she conscious?" And I'm like answering the questions, and then I'm like, I'm trying to explain to them that it's really bad, but I didn't want her to hear me. So I'm like, I've got the phone as far, like tilted. I've got my head tilted away from her, and I'm like mumbling into the phone, like, it's really bad, but I'm like mumbling it real low so that hopefully she can't hear me. Oh my God, it was unbelievable. Fortunately, where, the house was like, literally less than 5 minutes from the fire department. So the ambulance was there like immediately. We were very lucky. And then they took it from there. But she had some stitches. So yeah, you can't mess around with that when you're on blood thinner. Even stuff you don't even think about. Like I was at the dentist the other day, and that was one of their questions.
Owner 1561 says my dad was on blood thinners, and his blood was so thin that even in the middle of July, he was freezing.
Oh yeah, it has that effect too. Forgot about that. Yeah. Tell you, the human body is a pretty crazy thing. It really is. I mean, even just the fact that like your cut, you get a cut and it heals itself is a pretty amazing thing, really.
Swag owner 1561 says, "Are you getting into morning rush hour there?"
A little bit. This is on the trip from Hampstead, Maryland, which is where the bakery is, to Eldersburg, which is where that cafe was that I just dropped off the donuts to. The trip between there is all rural, country, farms and stuff like that along the way. But this little town, it's called Westminster, is in between. So we kind of ride through here. But yeah, the traffic is picking up in this area because the folks here are probably some of them that would be commuting downtown into Baltimore. They would probably be leaving around now. You got some of the school people. I've got a brother that lives in Westminster, and I know he's on the road by 7, I think, driving his daughter to work. I mean, to school. She's in high school. So he'll be going past that intersection in probably a half an hour. I mean, the amazing thing is, right now, because we're in the middle of the short daylight period, but once we get to April, May, and then certainly through the summer, the sun will be up at this point.
Flag owner 1561 says, "Have you ever been to Camden Yards?"
Oh yeah. I was there when I used to work downtown, so in downtown Baltimore. Yeah, I was there when they opened Camden Yards. I don't remember what year that was. I know it was a long time ago. But yeah, Camden Yards. I mean, before Camden Yards, there was a stadium kind of a little north of the city, still within Baltimore City. I think it was on 33rd Street, so that's about how picture how far out from the center of the city that would be. But it's called Memorial Stadium. When I was little, that's where they had baseball and football. We had the Baltimore Colts. And there was the night that the Colts moved out. They moved to Indianapolis. I used to, the camp for the Colts was probably, I guess that's maybe 1.5 miles to 2 miles from my house on a back road. I used to ride my bike to work, and I would ride my bike past that camp. And I remember that time period because they infamously were using Mayflower moving vans.
Flag owner 1561 says, "I remember Memorial Stadium."
Yeah, it was a good stadium. When they moved the Colts out, they were They were famous for using the Mayflower moving vans. I think Mayflower probably had a tough time doing business in Baltimore for a while after that because people didn't like Mayflower because they were watching their football team leave. That was not a pop. I mean, and I'm not a big sports person. Like, I do like to go, for the atmosphere. I go to baseball games. I don't really go to football games, mainly because the atmosphere would mean sitting out in the cold. But I have been to a football game or two, but I do go to baseball games every now and then. But I'm not a big. I get excited if the team is doing well and everybody's like all pumped up. But I'm not a real fan in the sense that I don't get all worked up with sports teams. My brothers, on the other hand, are completely nuts about it. Like, my brothers are the TV.
Flag owner 1561 says the Cardinals in St. Louis did exactly the same thing whenever they moved from St. Louis to Arizona.
Oh yeah. They always like sneak out. I mean, literally, they snuck out in the middle of the night in Baltimore. I mean, we had Johnny Unitas, we had Gino Marchetti. There used to be a fast food restaurant chain called Gino's. I don't know how widespread that was. I know it was in Maryland, Pennsylvania. I don't know how far outside of this area they were. But I worked there. It was my first job ever, was Gino's. Gino Marchetti, he was a Colt. Now we've got, like, right next to Camden Yards, they built that M&T Stadium for the Ravens. So the two stadiums are side by side on that side of the city. Camden Yards is pretty cool. That even just the building that they kept the building that was, I guess it was a warehouse kind of. I guess it was all warehouse stuff, but it's huge. It's like super long. That for the one company I worked for had, not box. What are the clubhouse room kind of thing? So that was always kind of cool. Feels like a whole different life ago. Wow, the sun is making an appearance. Pretty neat looking sky. Looks like we don't have any clouds.
Owner 1561 says it's supposed to be sunshiny, clear and full here today, high of about 30.
I think that's similar. I think we might get a little warmer than that here. I think tomorrow is supposed to be even warmer, like 50, almost, like at least in the high 40s. So I'm thinking that my plan is tomorrow I'm just going to do a quick, check out everything in the yard and stuff. Make sure that I'm ready for the big snow. If we really are going to get like more than a foot of snow, maybe I'll live stream some of my shoveling. I have a camera thing that will let me put a harness over, so I can wear it like a body cam. It puts my phone on my chest. I haven't really played with that much. And then I have another one that I can put it on my head. I haven't played with that one at all. But I literally have like this strap thing that you're supposed to be able to put on your head, and it attaches the phone like to your forehead. I just can't get myself to wear it. Even saying it sounds stupid. Like, could you see me walking in the grocery store with my camera on my head? It's hysterical. Buy another tripod. My tripod broke.
Owner 1561 says you would look like you was headed to the mines.
Yes, that's right. And then, I don't think you could really like have a conversation with somebody that they wouldn't be like just staring at the camera the whole time. It and you couldn't see it, you know what I mean? You wouldn't really know what you were filming. You would kind of be hoping that the whole time it was pointed in the right direction, but you really wouldn't know. So, I don't know. But it sounds like a good idea, but I don't know if it really would work in real life. All right. Well, here we are. Back at the bakery. All right, well, that was fun. Another good day. And normally I would be off tomorrow. I don't know. I have to see what they're doing tomorrow. But I may not be driving again until Friday. But I always schedule my.
Wagoner 1561 says, "Take care, buddy. See you later."
Yeah, I hope you have a good visit at the doctor. Have a great day. I may not see you tomorrow if I'm not working. So I'll be back on Friday. But yeah, have a great day. I will talk to you later.